In this video, we're gonna go over how to do a free background check on a person. Whether that person is you or somebody else, I'm going to show you the resources available out there to do that. I'm using the website sheriffsdepartment.net and this website has databases at the state level, and there's also a nationwide option to do background checks on pretty much any person out there. There are certain states that make it a little bit more difficult to get this done and we actually provide all the resources that are available out there for you, and with instructions on how to get it done. So for this example, I'm going to use the state of Arizona. Most states are very similar in the way this is done, so whatever state you're going to be looking at, or multiple states, it should be similar. Some states make it a little bit more difficult to get this done, so I'm just giving you a heads up. But I'm going to go ahead and use Arizona, and we're going to take a look at this page and how to get this background check done on a person. Alright, so when it comes to background checking, there are certain record types that are going to be sought after. Obviously, the biggest one is the criminal record. You have court records. That's another thing people look at. Depending on the kind of background check it is, somebody might look at driving records, business records, incarceration records, sexual offender registry. There are also housing records and things like that out there. All sorts of databases available directly from the state that can be used to look up information on any individual out there, including yourself. So we are going to take a look at the criminal record, and in this case, this is directly from the Department of Public Safety here. It's a statewide check, so if the person has lived in another state or traveled through some states and got into some trouble or created some kind of a paper trail in another state, these types of state-specific checks aren't going to cover it. So for that, you want to come down and use our nationwide check, and I like to use both. The nationwide check is going to cover certain things, and it'll look through databases that you might not even be thinking of, and this is an instant search, so you should definitely check it out. And then the statewide check is going to really dig deep. I mean, you could really research these records. It's obviously going to be the most up-to-date list, and it's direct from the source. So looking at the option that they provide, and most states have something very similar to this. Looks like they have something for employees. They do have an option for a FBI type of check, and that kind of covers like more of a national level. It's not as detailed maybe as it sounds. And then they also offer a record reviews. So if you wanted to pull up your own record, and a lot of states will actually give this away for free, so you're able to pull a background check on yourself with this option. If you are an individual that's trying to look at another person, if you're trying to look up another person, at times these state databases won't, they could be made for employers trying to do a background check, or maybe a state department is trying to work with an individual, and this is what it's for, and so there are a lot of forms that need to be signed. It's very official. If you just need to pull a quick background check on a person, on someone else, you could also use court records. And so you could either Google Arizona court records or whatever state court records, or like I said, you can also just use the database that we have available here. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the court records page here and pull up Arizona. And what you're going to find is that, by the way, if you're Googling your state court records, you want to look for pages that will end with like a .gov. These are typically going to be Well, not typically. These are government websites, so these are going to be official sources, unless, of course, you're on sheriffsdepartment.net, which in that case will give you the official resources. So if you are looking at court records, and these could be typically looked at without any kind of permission from the individual. So let me see here. Okay, so if I get to the court page here, we have for state of Arizona, and all the states will have something similar to it. You have different courts. You want to make sure you look at different types of courts. You have Supreme Court, you have Court of Appeals, Superior Court, and we will let you know what each of these courts does and where you need to go to look at the records. At times you actually have to go physically to like a terminal at the courthouse to pull the record, and if they do have an online access portal, we'll provide that for you also. So check out the state-specific court record resource page. And like I said, you want to remember that they have different courts. So if you want to look at tax records, you want to look at the tax court. Municipal court will do like traffic, things like that. Then you have justice of peace, which is misdemeanor records, small claims, evictions, things like that. So you depending on what record type you're looking for, you want to make sure you have the correct court, that you're looking at the correct database when you're doing a background check on another individual or another person. And so this is just a quick visual so you can see exactly how this works. And then we have at the count, if at the state level it isn't enough, if you need to dig even deeper, if you got to go down to the county level, we'll also give you the most popular counties in the state, and so you'll be able to look at each of the courts that's available out there. So courts will cover civil records, it will cover criminal records. If you're unable to actually get the official background check from, say, like the Department of Public Safety, another database you might want to check out is the Department of Corrections page. So for this, in this case, I typed in Arizona here. If anybody has been to prison, this is where you find it. You want to check the sex offender page also. States offer a statewide database. Sometimes local sheriff's departments will also have a page that they have a current database in. And let's see here, if you want to look at inmate, like jail records, we have an option for that. Vital records like marriage, divorce records, death records, things like that. Warrant search, we have a page for that also. So you can use Google to find all these things, but like I said, we did the research for you, we did the homework. You don't have to waste your time. We keep the database updated. So if you got to do a background check on a person or on yourself, come to sheriffsdepartment.net. I'll go ahead and drop a link in the description too, so you can click on that or just type the name into your browser and get started.